So instead of anticipating with this sort of fight or flight response, we want to think about what is one tiny thing, tiny micro habit that you could do different this year that will help your brain start to use the prefrontal cortex instead of your amygdala. And the way we do that is using anchoring mindset habits to begin to train your brain before you hit the stressor for how you're going to deal with that situation. So when you think about your brain, let's pause for a second and I want you to imagine a blinding snowstorm. You see in front of you a whiteout of snowflakes, maybe say 11 million of them. Now I'm picking that particular number because that's actually what your brain sees every single second of the day. It sees 11 million bits of information flooding your senses. But the brain is only a single processor, which means it can only actually pick out 40 snowflakes from that blinding snowstorm throughout that day, throughout that second. So when your brain is doing this, of course, it starts to scan for familiar information. And if your brain is used to scanning for the snowflakes that represent stresses and hassles and complaints in that snowstorm, then that is exactly what your brain will default to every time. So what we're trying to do here with positive psychology is to begin to look at that situation, those 11 million snowflakes, and recognize that while you're seeing 40, that might not be the only information out there, that there's actually 10 million plus bits of information that you could also be missing. So for everyone who's ever said, I'm not an optimist, I'm not a pessimist, I'm a realist. Well, you might be a realist, but with limited information. And there's actually equally true information that's out there. Now, knowing that our brain operates better when we give priority to the positive, we actually want to train our brain to see those positive snowflakes, not to ignore the other things, not to pretend that they don't exist, not to be Pollyanna and only see the bright side of everything, but to actually strategically say, yes, there's positive and negative, but I am going to actively seek out more positive bits of information and give priority to that in my viewpoint because I know it gets me to where I want to be going. And I know some of you out there